Talk to me, Cliff Notes version. Let's do it. So this movie opens up, typical party scene. This guy, Cole, is going to try and find his brother, Duckett. Duckett has locked himself in a bedroom, so Cole knocks the door down and gets Duckett, but he's acting really fucking weird. And as he's walking him out of the party, everybody starts to film it, and when Cole gets mad, Duckett stabs Cole and then stabs himself in the eyeball. Moving on, we meet our main character, Mia, who is struggling to cope with her mother's recent suicide. We learn that she also has a really estranged relationship with her father since her mother's death. So she spends a lot of time at her friend Jade's house with Jade and her little brother Riley. So one night Mia is at Jade's house and they decide to sneak out and go to a party, and Jade's brother Riley comes and they also meet Jade's boyfriend Daniel there. So at this point, we've seen Jade show Mia a couple of videos of people with like black eyes and like seizing, looking like they're possessed basically. And that's actually the reason that they went to this party. This is apparently like a new game, a new craze that's coming out. So they went to this party with these friends to go do it. And the way that they do that is through this embalmed hand that is supposed to belong to a psychic medium who died. So what you do is you sit across from it, you grab the hand and you say, "Talk to me." And when you do that, you see a spirit. And while you're still holding the hand, you say, "I let you in," and the spirit is able to inhabit you. However, you can't last for more than 90 seconds because if you do that, then you allow the spirit to stay. So somebody around you has to take the hand away from you and blow out the candle before 90 seconds is up. So Mia's feeling bold and she volunteers to go first. Mia gets possessed by a spirit and starts threatening Jade's little brother Riley, but she's tied to a chair so she can't do anything. But when they go to pry the hand away from her, she won't let it go. Eventually they do pry it away from her, but Haley here tells her like we did go a little over 90 seconds. So Mia tells everybody that this actually felt really good. She really enjoyed it. So the next night, the crew decides to gather at Jade's house while her mother is out to play it again. So there's this montage of everybody in the group doing it multiple times. They're all having a blast. They think it's hilarious. But then Jade's little brother Riley wants to go. Jade gets upset. They get into a fight. Jade storms out. Riley begs Mia to let him do it, and Mia's like, "Okay, but we're gonna pry it away after 50 seconds. So they let Riley do it, but when the spirit inhabits him, it turns to Mia and starts talking to her like it's her mother. So Mia's obviously shook by that. It hits 50 seconds, but she's like, "No, please, I need more time to talk to her." Because of the distraction, the time ends up going past 90 seconds, and when that happens, Riley smashes his head into the table. He smashes into a window and then proceeds to start banging his head onto the fireplace. But Jade comes back in the nick of time and is able to save him. Riley ends up in the hospital, and his and Jade's mother blames Mia for the situation because she's the one that let him do it. So she asks Jade's boyfriend Daniel to come stay the night with her because she's scared to be alone after this whole thing. So Daniel's in her bed. She ends up waking up in the night and seeing a spirit come over to Daniel and start sucking on his feet. But when she finally wakes up Daniel, it's her that's sucking on his foot. So Mia is now understanding that the spirits have followed her. But don't worry, she stole the hand from the party, and now she uses it to try and contact her dead mother. A spirit does come through appearing to be Mia's mother and tells her that Riley is in trouble and needs help. Back at the hospital, we see Riley still possessed in the shower, attack Jade, and then proceed to smash his head on the shower again, trying to kill himself. So now the whole crew knows that this is not going well and they have to do something to save Riley. And they contact Cole from the beginning, who is who they got the hand from originally. He basically tells them that the longer the spirits are in Riley's body, that he is more likely to kick the spirits out. Go back to the hospital because Mia has this idea that maybe if they perform the ritual again, but this time they blow the candle out, they can get the spirits to leave Riley. But when she tries to do that, she sees a spirit of a little girl who shows her that Riley is basically like eternally being tortured in this hellish type environment. And he's just in constant pain and agony. Mia, feeling defeated and feeling there's no way to save Riley, ends up going home where she is confronted by her father. And her father reveals that he's been hiding her mother's suicide letter from her. So this whole time, Mia has kind of been in denial that her mother committed suicide, but now the note proves it. Then she goes to her room and sees the spirit of her mother telling her that her father's lying and her father is not him, it's the spirits trying to be him. Mia then has a vision of her father attacking her, but when her real father comes in to try and save her, she stabs him in the throat with a pair of scissors. The spirit of her mother also tells her during this time that the only way to save Riley is for him to die, so she tells Mia that she needs to kill him. So Mia goes to the hospital and almost kills Riley with a pair of scissors, but is ultimately unable to do it. But at this point, she sees that Riley has taken the form of this like old decrepit spirit that's just like taunting her, basically. Meanwhile, Jade shows up at Mia's house and sees that she stabbed her father, who is still clinging on to life. Jade rushes back to the hospital and finds Mia wheeling Riley out into the street. The spirits at this point are trying to convince Mia to push Riley into oncoming traffic, but ultimately she overcomes it and ends up throwing herself into oncoming traffic. As she does that, we see Jade show up and rescue Riley. Now at this point, an injured Mia gets up from the road where she just got hit by a car. And suddenly she's back in the hospital where she has this like dreamlike sequence. She sees Riley fully recovered. She sees her father recovered walking out of the hospital. She attempts to call out to them, but nobody can hear her. She eventually ends up surrounded by blackness, but sees a candle in the distance. When she goes to the candle, she sees a hand sticking out and she goes to grab it. And on the other hand is somebody playing Talk to Me. So she died and she is now the spirit inhabiting people playing this game. And then it ends, but a sequel's already been confirmed.